director of the Arecibo Observatory. Are you enjoying your tour?
Yes, this place is awesome.
Yes, it's an exciting place to work. We study things very near, like our atmosphere. We study things in the solar system, like the moons of Jupiter or asteroids. And we even search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Have you found any yet?
No, not yet, but we're not discouraged. It's a very big place to look for something like this, and we have to keep on searching.
Why do you look for life in the universe?
Ever since the beginning of mankind, we've always wondered, by looking at the stars at night, if we're really alone. And we would like to really know. This would be the greatest discovery ever.
How do you look for life?
Well, one way is to search for artificial signals.
What's that?
A signal that is not produced by nature. So if we detect a signal like that coming from somewhere else, we will probably conclude that there's somebody who made that signal.
How do you locate these signals?
Well, researchers bring special equipment to connect to our huge telescope, and then we point the telescope to thousands of stars that look like and are like the sun.
Dr. D told us that sun-like stars are the most likely to have planets with life.
He's right. And the ones we know have planets will be looked at very carefully.
Have you ever tried to send an alien a signal?
We did that once in 1974. We sent a signal that had something to say about who we are and how we are and where we are. But usually we listen.
Do you really believe there's life out there?
It's such a large universe, so many stars, many with planets. It would be difficult to think that we're just all alone in this big place.
What would you do if you were contacted by other intelligent life?
It would be the greatest discovery ever. But before we go out and announce it to the world, we would have to confirm and make sure that it is real, that we didn't make a mistake, and probably ask other observatories to look also and see that it is true.
I'm not sure I would even know what to say if I made contact with an extraterrestrial being. Would you?
If we ever make contact here with an extraterrestrial intelligence, Bianca, we'll call you.
Thank you. Hi, guys. I'm back.
Well, hi, Bianca. Great. Now that you're back from your out-of-this-world internship, we can get to work on the travel brochure.
What did we decide to do? For some great ideas on how to present the final report on your investigations, visit the NASA Sci-Files website.
I think we should create a space cruise line.
That's a great idea. The moon could be our first dock of call, Mars our second, and somewhere in the galaxy our third. I had the cruise ship.
Our brochure can read something like this. You can begin your out-of-this-world vacation with a 3-day trip to the moon.
Unfortunately, the accommodations in Foon aren't exactly 5-star.
Yes, as we learned from the ISS crew, eating and sleeping are much different from on Earth. But Starship 2040 says things will be much better in the future.
At least we can advertise, truthfully, that on this cruise, you'll be at your thinnest.
Huh?
Remember, because of less gravity on the moon, one will weigh 15 pounds instead of 90.
And our travelers won't need to worry about buying expensive cruise clothing.
Because of extreme temperatures and lack of air, spacesuits are required.
From the moon, we could head to Mars.
Remember, Mars is 1.5 times farther from the sun than the Earth, so it's a lot colder.
It also has some great tourist attractions, such as the largest volcano and mountain in the solar system. Make sure you sign up for that tour, Jacob.
Yeah, right. Finally, our last stop will be the next nearest star in our Milky Way galaxy, Proxima Centauri.
I hope our group has a lot of time, because even in our fastest space probe, it could take 60,000 years to get there.
Unless we get a new propulsion system, I don't think we'll be making our last stop.
If we do, then who knows? The researchers from Arecibo might pick us up on their radio telescope.
We might even run into extraterrestrial life.
This is going to be a great brochure.
We should also take some video so we can make a commercial too.
Great idea. Come with me. So what do you think, Tony?
Jacob, I think you're gearing up for the wrong kind of cruise.
No, just getting in the mood for our out-of-this-world vacation.
I'm glad to give you this key and the logo of Loíza as a present in the name of Loíza Municipality.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
The difference is, on the Alpengeist, you let you... galaxies and billions of stars, all in this universe of ours.
Coming up on this edition of Out of the Blue from Middle Tennessee State University, we tell you about the work of our Career Development Center and how it helps link students with job opportunities, including at places like Enterprise Car Rental. Becca Crockett, director of the center, and Miranda Mitchell from Enterprise joins us to discuss. We introduce you to MT Imagine, a student firm in our Department of Media Arts that allows our students to tackle animation projects for commercial clients. Associate Professor Rodrigo Gomez joins us to talk about this great opportunity. And we meet the new president of the Blue Zoo Student Section at MTSU, Bretlin Warner. And we talk about her plans to increase student engagement at our athletics events this year. I'm Andrew Ottman, and this is Out of the Blue. Welcome to Out of the Blue. I'm Andrew Ottman. The Career Development Center at MTSU helps provide students with the tools and strategies they need to discover and engage in meaningful work. They also help students build their skills and become more attractive to potential employers like Enterprise Car Rentals, one of the partners in the center. Joining us to discuss this is Center Director Becca Crockett and Miranda Mitchell, Talent Acquisition Manager for Enterprise. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Welcome to the program in person. I know you were one of our guests during the pandemic. We had a virtual show.
Yes, we did.
And now we got the lights on. Now you're in studio.
Mm-hmm. Great to be here. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you here to talk about the Career Development Center. And for our audience, can you describe for us what the center does and how it works and how do I find it?
Yeah, so we're a full service center that walks along with students through the developmental process, then the full job search and placement process. So we do everything from major confirmation to resumes, cover letters, and then connecting them to our industry partners like Miranda here.
Fantastic. And Miranda, that's a segue. Mm-hmm. So tell us about your role as the Talent Acquisition Manager at Enterprise.
Sure. So I work for Enterprise Holdings, but you probably know us best as Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I'm a Talent Acquisition Manager, so layman's terms, that is a recruiter, but it also gives me the opportunity to partner with universities, MTSU being one of them. So I work with Beck and her team to get connected with students, to connect them with opportunities after graduation.
And I would imagine that this is one of the real values of the Career Development Center, that you're able to get partners like Miranda and Enterprise to come to campus to talk to our students, right? And that's one of the functions of the center.
Absolutely. So we have a really strong partnership program where we rely on faculty and staff. They call us into the classroom and reach out, and then they ask us to bring in our employer partners. So we have a strong network. We have an online job board called Handshake where employers are active. Through that system and our relationships with employers, we like to bring them on campus as much as possible.
That's great. And you use Handshake, I bet.
I do, yes.
So talk to me about what you do to use that system to find the students that will potentially fill your jobs.
Sure. So I can use Handshake for a variety of functions. It's not just for jobs, but it can also be development as well. So we host different kinds of sessions, meet and greets, but it can be career development, interview prep, resume workshops directly from an employer as well. And from there, you can start building your network before you even apply to the job. So that also makes it really useful for the student as well. But for the recruiter, it's less of a hunt and more of a networking platform for us to connect with students.
So what's the best time, and I'm going to ask this of both of you, when's the best time for me if I'm a student to connect with the Career Development Center? When is if you had a magic wand, when would you say, this is when you need to see me first?
Their freshman year or their first year.
Okay, and that's not instinctive. They may not be thinking about that, right? Why is that important?
It's important so that they can continue to build a relationship both on and off campus. We all know that students are really marketable if they have the academic and the employment experience. Then they can almost guarantee placement upon graduation if they have both. But if they focus too much on their studies and not enough on their network, they're not as marketable.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Miranda. What are you looking for when you're meeting somebody that's getting close to entering the job market? What are the things on your list that you find to be the most marketable and attractive of a job candidate?
Sure. So I'm going to say someone that has customer service, and by that I just mean like general people skills, working with some kind of client, some type of competitiveness, whether you are a salesperson or anything you do, you're going to need to hit a number of results. I need you to be hungry, want to do well. And then leadership, right? So leadership and teamwork, whether you have the title or not, are you someone that steps up for the team to get to the result or to bring new ideas to the table? Are you at the table or are you trying to get to another table? What is your function here on the team is what I'm looking for. Someone that I can take those skills and not just market them for my one role for you. How can I see your career long term?
Wow, wow. I bet you none of that's a surprise to you. You may have even asked Miranda that and others. So what are the things that you advise students to get to that point? How do you work with them to build those skills that make them marketable to Miranda?
So we work with students to talk to them about building an experience map, and experience doesn't necessarily have to be employment. So getting engaged on or off campus is really a good first step, and then being willing to embark in leadership positions is really important as well. There's a ton of on-campus organizations, either tied to a major or not, that students can get involved with. So that's often the first and easiest place. Or a community organization is another opportunity for students to just start working on those skills.
So the experience I could gain from a student organization, leadership in that, Miranda, that's something that's attractive to you, right?
Yes.
And that shows that they're capable of solving problems, managing tasks, things like that?
Unfortunately, it wasn't attached to a paycheck, but that's fine. It's still real world skills that you're going to have to do in order to get the paycheck. So I absolutely do look at that.
That's great. That's great to hear. That's great to hear from you because you're actually doing the hiring. All right, so let's tell folks where to find information about the center and the fair. I assume it's one website for both, right?
Absolutely. It's mtsu.edu/career.
Fantastic. And is there a website, since you're on the show, for you that folks can understand about your opportunities as well?
Sure. We're going to be careers.enterprise.com. You can go to the website, play around, Launchpad. The most common thing we hire for is our management trainee. But if you're a rising senior, you can also do the management trainee internship.
Fantastic. Miranda, thanks for coming to our campus and considering our students for your opportunities. That's really important to us.
Thank you so much.
And Becca, you do great work.
Thank you.
Keep on doing it, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you both.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
I am True Blue.
As a member of this diverse community,
I am a valuable contributor
to its progress and success.
I am engaged in the life of this community.
I'm a recipient
and a giver.
I am a listener and a speaker.
I am honest in word and deed.
I'm committed to reason, not violence.
I am a learner. Now
and forever.
I am a Blue Raider.
I am a Blue Raider.
I am a Blue Raider.
True Blue.
Do you want more from your college experience? At Middle Tennessee State University, that's exactly what you get. More majors, more opportunities, more guaranteed scholarships. Up to $32,000 over 4 years. MTSU, Tennessee's University of Opportunities.
The Jennings A. Jones College of Business at Middle Tennessee State University is the #1 producer of business talent in the greater Nashville area. Our nationally ranked programs and state-of-the-art facilities offer a world-class education at an affordable price. The exclusive partnership of Jones College with Dale Carnegie Training Worldwide equips our graduates with the soft skills they need to succeed. Jones College of Business. It delivers an education for the real world.
So many men and women that have served, that expected to be able to have their tuition or certain assistance being given to them, and that money evaporated. With the establishment of the general fund is to make sure that all those men and women can get through MTSU and pursue what they thought they could do when they came on back.
We're extremely proud that the Predators have identified the need to help make this fund one of the best at our university for our veterans.
Welcome back to Out of the Blue. I'm Andrew Ottman. MT Imagine Animation Studio is an organization within the College of Media and Entertainment. They provide the services of animated media students to the MTSU community and other organizations outside of the university. The media arts students get professional work products and experience doing work for clients. Associate Professor Rodrigo Gomez developed and launched MT Imagine and joins us on Out of the Blue to discuss. Rodrigo, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First time on Out of the Blue, you've got a lot to talk about, and I want to start with giving you an opportunity to give us the elevator pitch for animation. What makes our program special, and why should I major in it if I'm interested in pursuing that degree?
Today's technology and the world of media is so advanced, and we are so surrounded by a lot of different things that, you know, we see it every day: video games, movies, television, virtual reality, artificial intelligence now. We have a program that provides opportunities to tackle all of those things and give our students the opportunity to get a job in any of those fields. We have a generalist program, which means every student is going to work on different components of all those technologies. And that allows them to become employable when they graduate here in Tennessee or outside of Tennessee if they want to move to some other state.
And you mentioned, and I thought that was really fascinating, that so much of this work is now going into so many different mediums, and you're really teaching by a general background. The students get the opportunity to know how those skills apply on multiple levels and platforms, right?
Yes, that's right. They work from the traditional 2D animation, although it's all digital now, working with wonderful, tablets that they can draw on and do their traditional type of animation, doing 3D animation that could be, filmmaking, or could be video games or VR. And all of those allow them to find themselves. When they come in here, they don't know exactly. They think they like, most of us, when we get into the animation world, we want to go to work for Disney or for Pixar.
Right.
And that's everybody's dream. And that is a great dream to have. But once you start tapping into the different things, you discover, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. And then maybe the story may change a little bit, and you discover that you're more passionate about motion capture, or you're more passionate about character animation or visual effects.
Wow.
So it is that exploration is what opens eyes and then takes students to that journey of becoming the professional they want to be, which is great.
I'm very excited because I think I'm going to be one of your potential clients about MT Imagine. And when we were talking about it before the program started, you mentioned you wanted the opportunity for students to take jobs that would build their professional resume, their experience, but also give them real tangible examples of how this work can be utilized in different ways. So talk about MT Imagine. Whose idea was it, and how are you getting it started?
Well, MT Imagine is my idea. I come from the professional world. I worked in a corporation. I built animation teams in different places. We have a lot of opportunities to create wonderful content. At the same time, for them, many of them, to try to get an internship while they are still trying to keep their studies going is difficult. Most of the jobs have requirement of experience. And when they graduate and they don't have that experience, it's harder to compete. So we're trying to build a space that starts giving them the opportunity to really work on things that they can put on their portfolio, that they can say work for a client, and of course they get paid for the work they do, which is phenomenal.
Oh, wow. So give you an opportunity to name drop, or if you've got confidentiality and you can't, what are some of the types of jobs that you've been doing at MT Imagine?
Well,
right
we've done primarily a couple of projects that we worked on the past year for about 8 months. We worked with the Ali Foundation, which is a child safety foundation here in Tennessee that promotes child safety in cars. So kids wear the seat belts and use booster seats. So they came to us and they said, well, we need to create a show. So we created kind of like an opening for the show, and now we're working with them on building episodes that short little episodes that are going to be used on their website, on their campaign. They go to all the schools in Tennessee, and actually they're going outside of Tennessee as well, which is a phenomenal project, and our students are so passionate about that. They give us the opportunity to do actual cartoons, and we have a lot of fun with it. It's goofy, it's playful, and it has good instruction, and it's simple too. So it's great.
From a student standpoint, it's got to be the next level up from learning about this from a theoretical and classroom experience to actually, hey, this is what the client wants and I need to deliver upon that. That's the kind of experience you're trying to teach them, right?
Yes, that's right. It's understanding the concept outside of the classroom, because in the classroom, yes, they can go and they do the work, and if they deliver a C, it's a C, nobody cares, you just passed. Here, of course, you have to come, you have to deliver at the top quality, you have to talk to your client, you have to negotiate with your client when you need to negotiate. Sometimes the client is pushing back for things, and then you need to know how you're going to solve the problem. And at the same time, how to say no if you cannot deliver at some point, because of course it's part of the learning experience to know how to treat your client, of course respectfully, but professionally.
I mean, that's the kind of experience that helps them get jobs, bottom line, right?
Exactly,
and that makes them more attractive for future opportunities. Okay, there's got to be a place I can go online to find out about MT Imagine. What's that called? mtsu.edu/mtimagine. Well, that's easy enough. That's simple enough. Yes. Well, Rodrigo, thank you so much. Thanks for telling us about this great program. And it's really clear that you love what you do with the animation department.
Andrew, thank you so much for the invitation. Love to be here, and love to share what we are doing in our animation program and MT Imagine.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
We do it. The stars come to Middle Tennessee State University, and students come here to become stars, no matter what they pursue.
Hey, cut.
We do it. We're the only college of media and entertainment in the world, just outside the heart of Nashville.
Look, mic check, 1, 2, everybody listen. When you do it like this, ain't no competition. I'm talking B.I.G., VIP. Treat them like a front row seat and make them pay attention. If I shoot for the 3, then I ain't never missing. Cranking up the degrees like I was in the kitchen. Can't lose, got too much to prove. And when you do it all, it get too hard to do it.
Our curriculum and facilities are cutting edge, and our relationships with industry leaders give students an edge over the competition. Check it out. You can get real-world experience with degrees in recording industry, media arts, journalism and strategic media, and more. Media and entertainment at Middle Tennessee State University. Learn to shine.
Welcome back to Out of the Blue. I'm Andrew Ottman. The Blue Zoo is back this year, stronger than ever, and with a new president. Bretlin Warner now leads efforts by MTSU Athletics to increase student engagement at our athletics events. She and her fellow students will be hoisting up the Blue Zoo banner high in the student section of Floyd Stadium this fall. And she's already making her presence known by revitalizing the Blue Zoo's social media and planning great activities and perks for the students. Bretlin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
First time on Out of the Blue. brand new president of the Blue Zoo.
Yes.
I'm so very proud of you.
Thank you.
So let's tell our audience about the Blue Zoo. What is this job you're doing, and what is this group?
Yeah, so the Blue Zoo it's our student section. That's just what we call ourselves as the Blue Zoo. You know, we're in a designated section inside Floyd Stadium and the Murphy Center. You know, it's where we try and gather students to, you know, come together and get loud and rowdy and cheer on both of our athletics teams, like everyone that we got. You know, football and basketball are our biggest ones that we have. So that's just our biggest, you know, thing to do, is just trying to get everybody out there and get loud and rowdy.
Well, students like you have stepped forward to really try to make the student section have more of a personality. And one of the things that you do is that big old banner that rolls up. And August 20th, we rolled that banner up. So talk about what that banner means and why that's important.
So that banner, it actually has our logo on it. It says the Blue Zoo. It's super huge. It's a lot of fun to throw up, you know, at football games. Every time that we get a touchdown, after the band starts playing the fight song, we throw it up, and we throw it all the way up the student section. You know, we just start going crazy with that thing. And, you know, it's super cool to have, because it lets everybody know in the stadium and the arena, you know, that we're there and that we're the student section kind of thing. You know, without it, people are just like, oh, that's just another group over there just chilling at the game, you know. But we have that banner, and people are like, oh, okay, that's where the students
that's
are.
That's who you
know?
are,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
When we're talking about a banner, we're not talking about a little tiny thing, right? This thing is...
It's huge and heavy.
It's huge, right? It's huge and heavy. And one of the things, I guess, the August 20th event was to train students a little bit how the process it's going over their heads, right? I mean, you know, it's kind of like it's big in soccer, right? You'll see that a lot in soccer. So you've got to hoist it and then roll it back down and everything like that. Well, you know what you're getting into. You know what you signed up for. What are going to be your priorities for the Blue Zoo in the coming year?
You know, my biggest priority is, you know, just trying to get everybody to come out. You know, I came to this school, and what I saw the Blue Zoo, how it was back in 2018-19 before COVID, you know, it was huge. You know, it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And, you know, I actually came here, and I think I started attending here in 2020, fall of 2021 is when I started coming here. And I started hanging out in the student section, and I was like, man, you know, this kind of sucks, like, you know, what happened? And it was still kind of like in the middle of COVID and stuff.
Right.
And so, you know, once I took on that position, I met Sawyer and Kobe and everybody, and they were great people. And once I, you know, took on the presidency position, I was like, I want to turn this around. You know, I want to bring all the students together. We have plenty of people here. You know, we got plenty of people living on campus. You know, we get to go to all these events for free. So why wouldn't you be able to, you know, come, you know? Because not every Division I school gets to allow their students to go to every athletic event for free. So that's huge that we get to do that, so.
What's your major? What are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in sport management, or leisure and sports tourism studies is the full name.
I can't think of a better activity for someone in your major to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff you put on a resume, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And one of the things I've noticed at the beginning of your term, and really, truth be said, it was even towards the end of last year, is our social media presence for the Blue Zoo's picked it up. What are you trying to, what's your goals with that? What are you trying to do?
So I know, once I've figured out, you know, what kind of school we are, we're a big Instagram school, you know, there's TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're a big Instagram school, 100%. And so that was my biggest thing, is just making sure that I'm active on there, because when I'm active on there, students engage in it and they share it with their friends and their peers and all that kind of stuff, and then it just gets out to everybody.
The Blue Zoo Bash happening this month. Tell us about what that is. What is that?
So it's just a big, you know, we call it a party, but I don't know if we can necessarily call it a party, but, you know, we get together, we get all the students. It's also family parent weekend, so, you know, everybody's parents and, you know, their families in town for the weekend and for the game. So we bring everybody together. This year, so far I've heard, we're getting a Ferris wheel. I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure we are.
I've heard these discussions too.
We get a DJ to come out. We have band, dance, and cheer all come out. You know, they play our fight song. They just get everybody super excited and hyped for game day the next day. And, you know, it's just a big party with everybody. You know, we got food, giveaways, all that sorts of stuff. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come? It's a lot of fun.
And a lot of free things for folks to get. And it's the night before the home football opener. So what about that great announcement last month about the Lady Raiders playing the Lady Vols? 4 years, 4 games, what?
Yeah, that is huge. You know, ever since I've been here, I know we've been trying to play, you know, UT again, you know, after we played them in the tournament and they knocked us out. Playing this game is huge. We've been wanting them for years, you know, every time basketball season comes around, we're like, you know, we want Tennessee. That's what we want. And, you know, finally being able to play them at the new conference tournament location first is
Huntsville,
huge.
Alabama.
Yes, that is huge. And, you know, them moving that tournament is also huge because, you know, that is easier for us to be able to travel and, you know, bring fans to the games rather than going all the way to Texas. That's a bit further. So being able to bring people to Huntsville, Alabama will be so much easier, and for us to bring our fans to
So
each
mark
game.
your calendars for December 6th, and the
Yes.
zoo will be there, right?
Yes, absolutely, we sure will.
And let's give your Instagram handle for the Blue Zoo so we can find you there.
Yes, it is MT Blue Zoo, and that's the majority of our handles, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everything that we got. So.
You're all over.
Yep.
You're all over. Well, Bretlin, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm expecting you're going to do great work as our Blue Zoo president, and
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
And this does wrap up another edition of Out of the Blue. A reminder, you can find news about the campus 24 hours a day by going to our website, mtsunews.com. You can also find additional special content on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Broadcasting from the Center for Educational Media, I'm Andrew Ottman. Stay safe, stay on course, and remain true blue.
Researchers certainly go to extreme lengths to observe primates, whether prosimian, monkey, or ape. But when it comes down to the survival of a species, it's certainly worth it. Ow. I think. Ever wonder what the difference is between an ape and a monkey? Or what makes an ape great? Ever dream of making a lifetime career in the jungles of Africa? Or wonder what you can do to help save an endangered species right from your own home? It's all ahead on The Great Ape Story. Conservation work is seldom easy, but the need for it is critical. And as you'll see, the rewards extend far beyond a single animal or habitat. Hi, I'm Julie Scardina, SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Animal Ambassador, and this is a program on primates. More specifically, this is The Great Ape Story. It's estimated that there are over 600 species of primates in the world. And before we zero in on the great apes, let's take a quick look at some of the differences, similarities, and classifications in Primates 101. The order Primates consists of two major suborders: prosimians, such as lemurs and lorises, and anthropoids, which include monkeys, apes, and even humans. Let's start with the monkeys. You've got your Old World monkeys, coming from Europe, Asia, and Africa, and your New World monkeys, coming from the Americas. The obvious differences between Old and New World monkeys have to do with the shape of their noses, the number of teeth, the range of their territory, and tail usage. Most New World monkeys can use their tails for grasping at branches. They have prehensile tails. On the other hand, Old World monkeys with tails can use them for balance when jumping, but they can't wrap them around branches to help them hang on. There's also a difference between monkeys and apes. The easiest way to figure out monkey or ape is to look for a tail. Most monkeys have tails, but no apes have tails. Overall, monkeys are more like other mammals than apes and humans are. For example, because of their skeletal structure, monkeys move more like a cat or a dog than apes and humans. And on the evolutionary line leading to humans, most scientists believe that monkeys split off long before apes did. Are you ready to graduate to Primates 102? Moving on to the two categories of apes. There are the lesser apes found in Southeast Asia with features that make them distinctly different than our featured creatures, the great apes. Of all terrestrial mammals, apes seem to most resemble humans. They can walk upright, they have human-like features, they're social creatures which form family groups, and they make and use tools. Maybe that's why we're so fascinated by them. We can relate. There are 4 species of great apes: chimpanzees, bonobos, orangutans, and gorillas. Each has its similarities, each its differences. One thing they do all have in common, they are all very endangered. But before we jump ahead to conservation, let's get to know a little bit more about each ape individually. Chimpanzees are found in Central and West Africa, where the region consists of humid forest, deciduous woodland, or mixed savanna. They eat fruits, seeds, stems, bark, insects, and meat, with 90% of their diet coming from fruits and vegetation. Chimps live an average of 30 to 40 years in the wild, but can reach up to 55 years of age in managed situations like zoological parks. Chimpanzees' arms are very long, which make them good climbers and allow them to move quickly through trees and branches. And they have opposable thumbs, which they use for many things, including creating and using tools. They've been known to use sticks to fish out termites to eat and crumpled leaves to soak up water to drink. Genetically, it's believed chimps are more like humans than any other mammal. And like us, they're very social animals, using facial expressions, vocalizations, and even kisses to communicate with members of their group. As they age, their fur turns gray, and they even go bald. Closely related to the chimpanzee is the highly endangered bonobo. Bonobos can only be found in one country in the whole world, the rainforests of Africa's Congo, in a small range between the Zaire and the Kasai rivers. This limited territory may serve as a detriment to this species' survival, as habitat loss becomes more prevalent with encroaching activities. At first glance, bonobos look similar to chimpanzees, being about the same height at the shoulder. But the bonobo's overall build is more slender, and they can weigh 20% less than chimps. They have rounder heads with flatter muzzles, smaller ears, and hairy tufts on either side of their head. Bonobos spend more time in the trees than their chimpanzee cousins, confidently leaping among the branches, and even walking upright along them like a tightrope walker. Like chimps, bonobos have complex communication abilities and close family structures, particularly mother and offspring, including not only babies, but fully grown sons. Another member of the great ape family is the orangutan, which literally means person of the forest. Orangutans are the only great ape from Asia, specifically Sumatra and Borneo. Their limited range of natural habitat has been significantly reduced in recent years due to logging and development. This, combined with hunting, has put the orangutan on the endangered species list. Orangs live up to 50 years of age, and unlike other great apes, are solitary by nature. This may be related to their need for huge quantities of fruits and plants to eat. Travel in pairs or groups would mean more competition for a limited food source. A couple unique features of the male orangutan are the enormous cheek pads around its face and the large throat sac. This sac enables them to make long calls, a sound which helps them define their territory. Rounding out the great apes is the gorilla, which is found in Central Africa. The western lowland gorillas range includes the People's Republic of Congo, Gabon, Central African Republic, and Equatorial Guinea. The mountain gorilla is found in Rwanda, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, formerly known as Zaire. Like the other great ape species, they eat mostly plants, but also some invertebrates such as termites and ants. Even with a mostly vegetarian diet, males can weigh up to 400 pounds, and females can weigh over 200 pounds. As the males mature, they acquire a silvery gray color across their back and upper thighs, giving them the title of silverback. As intimidating as they may appear, silverbacks are tender caregivers, often babysitting for their offspring when the female needs to forage on her own without the interruption of her playful young. Like the other great apes, gorillas are endangered, primarily as a result of habitat loss and logging, war in the region, and poaching or illegal hunting. But through conservation efforts, attempts are being made to preserve their habitats. One example, Busch Gardens supported the Mbeli Bai study of western lowland gorillas in the northern Congo. This resulted in groundbreaking data that will help us understand this species and their habitat needs. Gaining a better understanding of a species is an important piece of the conservation puzzle, and the information field researchers collect provides a crucial foundation. Next, you'll meet two researchers whose interest in primates took them from Tampa, Florida, to the African jungles.
While I was working at Busch Gardens with the chimps and gorillas, I wrote a lot of the projects that were out in the field. In 1995, Busch Gardens started funding a western lowland gorilla study in northern Congo. And at that point, I contacted them, and through the affiliation with Busch Gardens, I was able to go out to Mbeli Bai, the Gorilla Study Center, and work as a volunteer.
Dave got his start as an inquisitive zoo camper at Busch Gardens, Tampa, when he was only 6 years old.
During zoo camp, they would take us out on the feed truck once in a while, and I always looked forward to that because it was we got to see behind the scenes and get up close to the animals and feed them.
These up-close experiences left a lasting impression on Dave. His 4 years as a zoo camper laid the groundwork for what would later become his life's work. After college, he accepted a conservation position at Busch Gardens, Tampa, which then led him to Africa. After spending time on the gorilla study at Mbeli Bai, Dave transferred his focus to chimpanzees.
We're monitoring a community of chimpanzees that are found in an area called the Gualogo Triangle. And over a period of time, we hope to learn about the size of the community, just how many chimps are in that area, and how far these chimpanzees range, what sizes their groups are, what kind of foods they're eating, and what type of force they need to survive. And we hope to use this information to better prepare other areas where chimpanzees will be affected by humans that are moving in.
Most chimpanzees have learned to fear humans.
There are still forests where the animals don't know human beings, and they're still intact, and we can help protect those forests.
Deep down, I always knew that I wanted to go to Africa, and in my heart, I knew I'd get there somehow, but the Mbeli Bai study allowed me to get into the field and follow my dream.
In the late 1990s, Busch Gardens conservation specialist Tina Goody traded in the creature comforts of home for the extreme creatures of the Ndoki National Park in the African Congo. The Lowland Gorilla Research Project at Mbeli Bai provides valuable information in understanding the behaviors and habitat needs of this animal. And for Tina, the project required intense, hands-on data collection in a very unique location.
This observation study, which is the longest running study of its kind, has actually been able to look into the world of the western lowland gorilla, which has been virtually unable to be seen due to the dense forest area. At first glance, you look at a gorilla, they all look the same from a distance. But using telescopes, video cameras, and still photography, we were able to look at nostrils, nose prints, coloration differences in size and behavior to identify all these gorillas.
After about a year at Mbeli Bai, Tina returned to her job at Busch Gardens, Tampa, but she came back with a greater understanding of gorillas and new information that was shared and applied on site.
Anheuser-Busch has supported the Mbeli Bai project for several years, and one of the most important supports of that is to actually bring this information back into the park, into Busch Gardens, into education, to teach people about this wonderful place and these amazing animals and how to conserve it for the future.
If you've ever thought about field research as a part of your career path, take some tips from an expert.
Follow your dream. Take the steps to make that dream come true. Field researchers are always looking for a way to get people that are dedicated and inspired involved and in the field. We can do this together. We can make a difference.
Close your eyes and imagine a place where endangered primates can roam safely, where they can forage for food from real plants and trees, swing from branches, and keep cool in the midst of a waterfall. Now open your eyes and take a look at one such place, Mayombe Reserve, the Great Ape Domain at Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida. The goal of any zoological park is to offer an entertaining and educational experience for guests, while providing a nurturing, comfortable home for the animal. But beyond this accomplishment lies an even greater opportunity: to study the animal and its environment and to impact its survival. Zoological parks strive for naturalistic habitats which allow for and encourage behaviors primates exhibit in the wild. Busch Gardens Tampa identified the need for a state-of-the-art primate environment and spent 6 years planning their great ape habitat. Mayombe would contain almost 3 acres of terrain, with the chimps and gorillas each having 12,000 square feet of their own yard space. You guys have space, you give them enrichment, it takes a lot of work, but what behaviors then are you gratified to see that, they would be the same types of behaviors that you might see out in the wild or something like that?
They have a lot of social behaviors here that you would see in the wild. The main one is grooming. They do a lot of grooming to help appease some of their social conflicts. Also tool use. They use tools in the wild to get termites out of mounds. We actually have an artificial termite mound here, and they use it exactly like they would in the wild by using sticks from their habitat to find the proper ones to fit to get out their goods.
Really? So they go and they find just the right stick, or do they actually modify it as well?
Usually they just go out and find the proper sticks, and they will break it down if it's too long.
I've seen the adults use the tools to get inside the termite mound. Have you actually seen the baby use them yet?
Yes, he started, of course, just watching as a youngster with his mom, and now he's progressed so much that he actually will gather his own tools and use them in the termite mound.
Oh, that is so cool. Busch Gardens spent over 9 months constructing this habitat, and great effort went into recreating the varied terrain of West Central Africa, including the creation of rolling hills, rock outcroppings, caves, and waterfalls. The attempt to make this habitat similar to the ape's natural environment is one aspect important to their overall well-being.
There's different deadfalls throughout the yard and also different levels, and the different levels is to encourage them to climb, and of course the deadfalls, there's some that are laying on their side to encourage balancing, walking over different objects, and climbing as well. And the waterfalls, yes, they will go down occasionally and just to look at the water and the fish and the turtles that are in the water as well.
What are some of the things that you've seen them do out here, some of the activities and behaviors?
We try to do something different for them each and every day, so they'll have a different activity. As I said, we do have the termite mound. We do have actually holes drilled in some of their deadfalls, so we can put peanut butter and things like that in for them to manipulate and get out.
This attention to detail gives the animal a natural sense of home, but it also serves another purpose. With the largest glass viewing area in the U.S., Mayambi gives guests an up-close and personal look at how gorillas and chimpanzees live on a daily basis. Is it necessary to consider all these details in the making of an exhibit? The answer is yes, if it helps in the preservation of a species. As part of their conservation efforts, Busch Gardens participates in the internationally recognized Species Survival Plan, or SSP. Many animals have been helped by this cooperative management program designed to maintain genetic diversity of an endangered species. In simple terms, the SSP helps keep the gene pool healthy. So I know this year we had 2 new male gorillas transferred from the Denver Zoo. Was that part of a species survival plan?
Correct. We did have a male gorilla and his son come in, Kundu, who's 27, and his son, who is 7 years old. It's very important to relocate animals according to the species survival plan in hopes that they'll have offspring and to produce a more widespread gene pool.
And were they able to be introduced to the rest of the group right away?
We had to go through a slow introduction just so they could visually see each other, and then we had them so they could touch each other, and then we got to the step where we could actually put them in together.
So I would imagine that in the future we get some breeding?
Yes, we're hoping that our male Kundu will breed with one of our females.
A healthy habitat is crucial to the well-being of an animal, and Mayambi has been a proving ground for the success of a well-planned environment for great apes. But it also provides a setting to help educate the general public about chimpanzees and gorillas, as well as playing a critical role in helping to conserve the species. Ultimately, what we can learn about these animals will only aid in the fight to save them.
Mayambi is great because the guests can come in and get an up-close view of the animals and gain a respect for the animals, and then you can teach them how important it is to get a conservation message out to them so they can get educated and know what they have to do to help save the species.
A little farther from home, in Kenya to be exact, there's a safe place for chimps who have not had the best of care. Connected to the Jane Goodall Institute, Sweetwater's Chimpanzee Sanctuary is the only one of its kind in Kenya and is home to 26 orphaned and rescued chimps who have found a wonderful place to expend their energy. What's so special about chimps?
Well, any which way you look at it, they are our closest relatives. They are active compared to the orangutans and the gorillas, as you see. They hardly sit still for 2 seconds. They got a great sense of humor.
But these chimps weren't laughing much before they came to Sweetwater's. Abused or abandoned, many of them were orphaned when their parents were killed by illegal hunting or from habitat loss from logging of the rainforest and even from the illegal pet trade. What's going to stop this in the end?
We have to stop to buy any tropical timber. We have to stop the complete ruin and cutting down of their habitat, which is also the habitat of a lot of other animals that needs protection. Because if we get rid of the rainforest, there's a lot of other issues involved. Apart from all the animals, there's medical plants there, we don't even know what they are, which chimps knows certain medical plants and what they're used for that we haven't even found yet. And to destroy all this without having sought the knowledge is sacrilege to me.
In the meantime, the chimps are safe at Sweetwaters, with plenty of space to roam and lots of food to eat. And like the chimps at Mayombe, the Sweetwater chimps play an important role in educating the public. What are some of the things that you think of from a zookeeper standpoint that they can do, from a zoo standpoint that they can do to help the situation?
Well, first of all, information to the public, of course. Information education to the public that visits the zoos of what the status is like in the wild, and also what the problems are. The problems of the bushmeat, the problems of the logging, the byproduct of it, which we get, and the problem we have on looking after them simply because nothing's free in this world. And as we know, chimps live for 50 years or more.
Well, you guys are doing a wonderful job here at Sweetwater Sanctuary, and Jane Goodall Institute has done a wonderful job of setting it up and making sure we do have a place to care for these elephants.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
March 12, 2003 marked a special day in the history of Busch Gardens, Tampa. For the first time ever, a baby orangutan was born at this zoological park, safe and healthy, adding another member to the family of orangutans at Busch Gardens.
Alina, you are so cute. You just keep getting cuter. Yes, you do.
She is so adorable.
Yes, this is Alina. Hi. She's a 10-month-old Bornean orangutan, and she was born here at Busch Gardens. And her name, Alina, is actually Malaysian, and it means to create a friendly and sociable nature, which she does because every time somebody sees her, they smile.
Absolutely. Now, when did you find out that her mom, Dayak, was pregnant?
We found out, it was about a month into her pregnancy when we found out that she was expecting. And one of the things that we started right away with Dayak is a maternal training program for her, because we realized that she had been hand-raised at the zoo where she was born. So we wanted to make sure that she had as many skills as possible to help take care of Alina when she was born.
What were some of the most important behaviors that you were thinking about teaching Dayak before the actual birth?
Some of the things that we did is because she was also a first-time mother, we trained her on different behaviors like bringing novel objects to the mesh and holding them at the mesh for a couple minutes. So in case she wouldn't let Alina nurse, we could actually bottle feed Alina because she would hold the baby up against the mesh. And then with her dad, Skinny, we started teaching him a behavior of gentle because we wanted to make sure that he was very gentle with her. So we would take a stuffed animal, orangutan, and present it at the mesh and ask him to touch it gently, things like that.
After all the preparation, there were complications with the birth, and the decision was made to hand-raise Alina. Coffee explains why.
We think one of the main reasons is because she had to have an emergency cesarean, which means that she never had a natural birth, so she basically had no idea where Alina came from. And since she was a first-time mother as well, that connection just never clicked. We decided that we were going to give her 24-hour care if that needed to happen, if we needed to hand-raise her. So she's been having 24-hour care ever since the day that she was born, and that really makes a big difference in a great ape's psychological development, is having that 24-hour care, because that's what they would get with their mother.
Alina quickly became an ambassador to teach people about orangutans and the other great apes as well. Coffee, do you find that the public is very interested in her?
Very, very interested in her. What we've done is we bring her up to the Nairobi field station here and have her there in front of the windows for about an hour every day. We have a keeper on the sidewalk educating, so we make sure to get the right message across, and it is really neat to see someone walk up who has no idea about what a great ape is like or what they're about, and then 20 minutes later have that person walk away with a completely different understanding, knowing all about orangutans, what it's like to hand raise them, and their plight in the wild. So it's worked out really well for us.
What a difference one little baby can make, huh?
She's educated a lot of people.
Now, what about her future? What's in store for her?
We hope to do an introduction with the adults probably in the next couple months, because we want to make sure that she knows how to be an orangutan, and the longer she's with an orangutan mom, the more likely she is going to be to take care of her own offspring. So of course we want her to be a good mother when the time comes.
Around the world, people are pulling together to help save the great apes. Birute Galdikas, president and co-founder of the Orangutan Foundation International, has devoted her life's work to helping this endangered species.
OFI is an organization that is dedicated to the preservation of orangutans and the tropical rainforest habitat in the wild.
What do you look as your most satisfying change that has happened since 1971 when you first went there to right now?
Well, the most important change, and it's very profound, is that the national park, which then didn't exist, is now protected.
Through education about the plight of orangutans, the #1 source of habitat destruction, logging, has been stopped in this park. OFI's partnerships with organizations such as Busch Gardens help increase awareness and ultimately aid in the fight to preserve this precious habitat.
Education is the first step in increasing awareness, increasing consciousness that these problems do exist in the real world, that orangutan populations are going extinct. People need to know about this. And so all the education programs that Busch Gardens has are very valuable in this regard.
Results from a study determine the future course of a project and can send researchers down unexpected paths. So when the original mission changes direction, flexibility is crucial.
The mission of OFI has changed over the years in the sense that initially we were concentrating on the orangutans themselves, but now most of our effort is going to protect the habitat, you know?
Because without habitat, you're not going to have any wild orangutans or other animals anyway.
Exactly.
A lot of caring people at Orangutan Foundation International, Busch Gardens, and other organizations are working together to make a difference in the plight of the great apes and add one more baby to the population count. Her name is Alina. Even though you may not live in Africa or Asia, there are many things that you can do to aid in the preservation of great apes and other endangered species right from your own backyard. First, be an informed consumer. Logging is a major cause of habitat loss, so refuse to buy wood from the rainforest. Wood such as teak, mahogany, and rosewood, unless it's certified sustainable and legal. Even being aware of where your paper products come from can make a big difference. Palm oil and other plantation exports often harm forest habitat as well. Secondly, ecotourism is growing more and more popular, and it's getting easier to visit lodges and sanctuaries where these animals actually live. This helps the economy, which motivates locals to save species and habitat. Support organizations that you know help endangered species. Send a donation to the organization of your choice. Become aware of their programs and see how you might get involved. And lastly, contact your local zoological park. Find out what they're doing to raise awareness and help conserve these species. As I said at the beginning, conservation work is seldom easy. But at Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, we don't just think it's worth the effort, we know it is. Change always starts with just one person. Will it be you? I'm Julie Scardina, saying thanks for caring about the great ape story.
Hi, I'm Jenny Bush, Conservation Ambassador for the Anheuser-Busch Adventure Parks. SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, and Discovery Cove are dedicated to the conservation and preservation of wildlife. And we believe the stories like the one you just experienced need to be told. The primates featured in this program are just a few of the many species that benefit from the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund, a nonprofit charitable organization dedicated to habitat protection, wildlife research, animal rescue, and conservation education. Your support to the continued viewing of programs like this is appreciated. I encourage you to learn all you can about animals and their environment. Remember, we're all interconnected. What happens to them eventually happens to us. So we need to protect them and their habitats. Together, we can make a difference.